Hello. I'm jumping on to explain that what follows is another excerpt from another personal journal in which I was basically just trying to brainstorm something, but I feel like I more or less said what I had to say effectively enough that I'm willing to put my vanity aside because this was one of those days I rolled out, I got right to work, I was in the middle of doing about three different things, and this idea bubbled up for me, and I wanted to capture it. And so I look a little crazy, but I wanted to focus on the content. This isn't about me looking cute, this is about me kind of wandering around ideas and trying to figure some stuff out. So I've decided I'm going to run it with minimal editing, and vanity be damned, you get to see me in my just rolled out to work at home mode. All right, well, I hope it's of some value. Even though I've lived my life to have all kinds of stories to tell, and I certainly do, I've also come to a point in my life where I realize that very few of my stories are mine alone, and there's no way we can write literature or share our experiences in a meaningful way that we don't in some way reveal other people's piece of the story, that we're not speaking about other people in a way that they can't, contest it or amend it in any way. And I feel that. I feel that in particular where it's my family or close friends, and what I say about my experience is revealing about theirs in a way that perhaps they wouldn't choose to share with the audience at hand, whether that's the individual I'm speaking with privately or a broad audience on social media platforms. I still have to think about the audience and whether or not other people would want to actually have their information being shared that way. I know I can't control what other people do where I'm concerned, but I can have a standard and abide by it. And so I realize I'm kind of vague when I do these videos, and I'm not trying to be cryptic or coy. I just feel that there's certain things that are not meant for the audience at hand. And I'm wondering if perhaps we've all lost sight of that in some way because we're so eager to share like the most intimate details of our lives, which do often reflect on others in ways that, like, you don't know who's seeing that or how they're taking it or what they'll do with it and how that might blow back on you and the other people concerned. And I'm wondering if maybe that's a cost too high for a little bit of attention, for a little, dopamine hit, whatever that is that you get from people liking and responding to things. I think if you run that system off of so many other things, that's just one element of it. It's not, my mood is not regulated by that, right? I'm like, my diet is not about that one thing. And I think that depending on people being like shocked or amused or sympathetic or in some way like engaged with your story, like they're not really though. Like there's not a real net gain from doing that, and you're kind of revealing stuff that's personal to you and to others that I think we could, maybe we would feel better if we had better boundaries around that stuff, right? If we weren't always there with all our stuff hanging out, exposed and vulnerable in these weird ways that we don't get the benefit of the vulnerability. It just doesn't come through that we're taking that chance, we're exposing a thing of value towards something. It's just gratuitous. It's just gratuitous self-exposure and no real return in the way of connection or growth or the things you get from vulnerability, love, like real love. And yeah, I think it's a shame that we've kind of, I feel like we've been tricked into being like performing animals in somebody else's circus, and I'm like, maybe we decline, maybe we say no thank you and take a different course from here. Because, all right, I'm gonna stop trying to eat yogurt because my mouth is going too fast to get food in it. All right, So yeah, I think we've kind of been duped, and I think we can say no thank you. And so yeah, I've chosen to not really share a lot of personal details if I think that's going to reflect on other people in a way that they might have to answer for. And they don't have to abide by that. They don't have to have the same standard. But I feel like there's a peace, a quietude in me when I make these choices and I look at the disquiet I see in others, and I'm like, maybe that's something to fold into the whole arsenal required to fight the gloom and despair people seem to be suffering under. Because yeah, I mean, I'm I see it. I know it's there. I really do. I'm acutely aware of what the issues are in the world and what people struggle with. But I also know that we have a certain amount of agency. We ourselves can act in our own best interests and toward what we value without being corrupted at every frickin' turn. And I know it's tiring. You do have to put in the good fight. You have to be willing to suffer the slings and arrows. Yeah, it's there's gonna be grief, but there's gonna be grief whatever you do. There's no grief proofing life. People are gonna give you trouble, you're gonna suffer, you're gonna lose, you're gonna mourn. It's part of the process. So it's sort of, what do you want to do with that? And I think stepping back and saying, look, I'm a pretty open person. An individual who I know asks me a relevant question, I'll be much more forthcoming about the particulars of my situation. Now, again, still mindful of the fact that other people may not want their part of the story being told, but I can say much more when the audience is one person and the context is appropriate. And so this isn't even about being like closed off. This is just about being discerning, being able to set different filters at different levels. And I think those filters keep us healthy. That's like what comes in, what goes out. We need that in balance. If you think of us as cells, we need that membrane functioning properly. So yeah, I think we'd all maybe feel a little better if we set those, at least those types of boundaries in our lives. Maybe that's not as critical for another person's conscience as it is for mine. Again, nobody has to take up the standard or live by it by any means. But for me, in my own view of things, I feel peaceful with that. I feel peaceful being discreet, and I have plenty of stories to tell. Like, that's another thing. I've lived my life such that I have all kinds of stories to tell. It's not that I need to co-opt other people's experiences as like entertainment that I feed to an audience I don't even know. I kind of know my audience, but once you're putting things out there, anybody can come through and see. You don't really know. You don't know what the whole picture looks like from the little peephole of I posted this. You don't know. You get certain indicators on certain platforms. You can sort of see how things are moving, but you still don't really know. It's just peering through little bit. So yeah, I just really wanted to get on that idea because I think there's something to develop there, and that there's a benefit in saying this to people as part of developing the thinking in the way that I have. These are the things that help me function. These are the things that like help me trim the fat where like the upheavals of life are concerned, because they're going to be upheavals no matter what you do. You can't get too uptight trying to make sure everything's provided for. It'll be the one thing you missed. That's just how life works. But but at the same time, you don't want to go on a long hike with all kinds of junk in the bag. You want to get the junk out, and that's kind of what this is. It's like lightening the load for the actual trek. You're like, I've actually got to go make this trek. I got to carry what I need on my back. How much can I pull things out that are just going to slow me down? And that's what this list is for me when I'm like, yeah, you need to be able to do this and that and the other thing. It's about lightening the load and helping to you know, No, we don't know. Still with the you knows. Anyway, and the ums. When hiking, you don't want to be laden, you want to be unladen. And this is about unladening. All right, we were doing well, then it came apart. So there it is, and I'll probably come back in a little bit, but I'm jumping off from other work I'm supposed to be doing so I can capture this stream while it's hot. And all right, we'll see what the next installment brings. So, given that this is a personal journal entry, I wanted to come back and at least say a proper thank you for your time as always, and I hope this was of some benefit somehow. All right, all the best. Till the next time.